Shalom.
We want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and salutations to the house of David, the elect man, pushing this truth and faith and sincerity. This is the brother Yitazakah.
It's your brother Kabar.
Khan, and we're coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kadash, man. You know, all praises and honor due, you know. We don't really have nothing particular we're going to go into. We're just going to roll in the spirit. You know, we pray in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is edifying for all you sincere listeners, you know, who may tune in to this. You got something to work?
This is in Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, "The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies. Neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid." You got it, bro.
Bro, that's beautiful. Read that from the top one more time.
This is in Zephaniah 3 and 13. It says, "The remnant of Israel shall
remnant. The remnant. There we go.
The remnant.
You look the word remnant up?
Come.
Oh, for sure.
Let me get that Anagio blue letter.
See what we're getting the blue letter.
Come.
For sure.
Yeah, man, because this thing's about the remnant, man.
Bro.
Most High has always been dealing with the remnant, man. Zephaniah 3 and 13. The remnant. Strong's H7611. It says rest, residue, remainder, remnant. It says rest, what is left, remainder, descendants.
So the remainder, what is left, man? You know, and what that remind me of Zechariah 13. You know, two parts should be cut off therein and die. You know, so it's a certain sector of people, men, you know, women, you know, inside the nation of Israel that's, you know, not slated to be a part of this remnant. They're not of the remainder, you know. Like matter of fact, I'm gonna let you read that one more time. I'm gonna give this quick precept.
Come on, bro. You want me to read it now or?
Yeah, just hold it real quick. I just want to bring just one quick point out about the remnant. It's 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 21. It says, "And I saw and spared it." What's like it? Let me start up a little bit more. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 19. It says, "For then every word obeyed, but now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made and corrupted by a perpetual seed and by a law which is unsearchable rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that would come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of great people." You know, that he has kept him a grape of the cluster. Like, that's the remainder, the rest, the excess. He put that to the side, you know. It says, verse 22, "Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect." You know, so let the grape of his cluster be kept, you know, and the rest, you know, perish. It was born in vain, you know, but that remnant, you know, they're not going to do iniquity. Like it said in verse 20, you know, the peril came into the world because of the devices that was out here, you know. So these different devices have are against the laws, statutes, commandments, and Yahweh Shai, which is pretty much iniquity. You know, all these different devices. You know, iniquity is, you know, sin on top of sin. You know. But yeah, you read that precept. Read that passage you had one more time.
Back in Zephaniah 3 and 13, it says, "The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity."
Yeah, the remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, man. You know, so it's that's that grape that's being kept. You know.
It says, "Nor speak lies.
Nor speak lies.
Neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth."
Right. So that's how you know who. That's how you have an indicator or indication of who that remnant could possibly be. You know why? Because they're not. It's not going to be deceit or lies from out within them. You know, just like that's why we speak according to the scriptures, man. That's why I tell you what it's First Peter, the first chapter. No scripture is of private interpretation. You know, we don't speak according to our own mind. We speak directly according to the scriptures. Why? Because we're not trying to have deceit or lies found in our mouths. You know what I'm saying? We speak directly according to the word, man.
Yep.
You know.
I was gonna get that in Revelation 7, but you know, in Revelation 14 it talks about a new song. Okay, I just did a little lesson on that yesterday about the new song.
Okay,
ultimately that remnant is going to be singing that new song. You know.
Beautiful.
But just read it one more time. It says, "The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid." None shall make them afraid, man. You know, in the time that we approaching, you know, a lot of people are gonna be afraid, man. All right, prophets are gonna be afraid in a sense, but ultimately, hey, man, we only fearing Yahabashim Hashah, man. We ain't fearing men, all right, who could kill you physically. You know what I'm saying, but not kill your body and soul in hell.
Yep.
You know, which is this place, man.
Yep.
But you know, yeah, that was it on that. You wanted to bring out what you got?
Yeah, let me bring out these quick two real quick. This Romans chapter 9 in verse 6. It says, "Not as though the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua have taken none effect," because it has taken effect, but it's taken effect to those who it was slated to take effect for who it was slated to be effectual for. It says, "For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel." You know, watch. So basically, it's all about their remnant, their remainder, their excess. You know, that grape of the cluster, man. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, because the remnant, they're not going to do iniquity, like the brother brought out. And you know, if you're not doing iniquity, you are of Yahabashim Yahushua. Because what is that? Was that Zephaniah the 3rd chapter you just read? You jump up to 5 in that chapter.
Zephaniah 3 and 5. It says, "The just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. It says he will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light."
Yeah, so Yahabashim Yahushua, he will not do iniquity. You know, so the remnant of Yahabashim Yahushua, the true Israel of God, the elect of God, the Israel of God, they're not going to do iniquity. You know.
It says he faileth not. It says, "But the unjust knoweth no shame."
Yeah, that's those who are not a part of that. You know, if you're not a part of something that's remaining, you're not valuable or precious. You know, so you're not gonna know shame. You know, you're gonna go straight into the belly. You know, you're just another organism or molecule. You know, whatever you wanna, whatever kind of word you wanna use. You know. Yeah, that was it. Oh, I got one more slot. It's Revelation chapter 14 and verse 3. The brother just quoted. It's Revelation chapter 14, verse 3. Well, let me start from the top. It's Revelation 14, verse 1. It says, "And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard having their father's name written in their foreheads, man. What we just read about in Zephaniah the 3rd chapter about the just Lord is in the midst thereof, he would not do iniquity, man. You know, and the remnant, they follow after Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They would not do iniquity. You know, that's them having the father's name written in their foreheads, you know. It says, "And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the 4 beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth," which were redeemed from the earth, brought back, man. You know, that was what was left over. You know, because if everyone, those of who were redeemed from the earth, so everybody's not going to be redeemed. Who's going to be redeemed? Those who are left over. It's that remnant, you know.
Yep.
And here go the point right here, though. It says, verse 4, "These are they which are not defiled with women," which, like the brother Kabar was going to, it's not talking about literal women right here. You know what I'm saying? It's not talking about you didn't poke nothing, okay? It says, "These are they which are not defiled with women, for they are virgins," not literal virgins, Okay, but virgins, what? Because they're pure in their chest. You know, they're holy. They're set apart. Remainder. You know, it says, these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. You know, so being the first fruits unto Yahweh Shemel Shai and unto the Lamb. You know, why? The first fruits, the grape that was killed. You know what I'm saying? The first fruits, the grape that was killed, man. You know, their remainder, their remnant. You know, that's it, though, brother.
That's beautiful, man. Because Most High, like I was saying, man, like we both saying, Most High is dealing with the remnant, man. The small number, man. I don't know. I was trying to hop in. I was at the brother. Shalom, out. Yeah. Who else would it be? They bring some random in there.
No, it could have been Shamar, maybe.
Okay, Khan.
Quiet.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Khan. Jeremiah 30. I think I was going to get Jeremiah 31. I don't know if he approved it. He probably he just be seeing if he gonna add it. I don't know. But let me just get this because I read Zephaniah 3. I'm just read the first part again. The remnant of Israel, this is verse 13, back in chapter 3, Zephaniah. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. All right, so we already read in Revelation 14. All right, the remnant is not going to be defiled with women. All right, these strange philosophies. I believe it was Revelation 7. I think you might have got that point. I think it was actually Revelation 14. Salakia. You actually got that point, but yeah, I'm just reiterating. I'm just laying back it with the same script. Because it says, you got verse 5 already?
9, read 5.
Con, see? So, yeah,
that was just that's what I wanted. So like,
yeah, you want to bring it up?
Con, that's the spirit. Now you got it, brother. Go ahead.
Back in Revelation 14, verse 5, it says, and in their mouth was found no guile. It says, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. You got that?
Con, let me bring out this precept real quick, too. This Matthew chapter 5 and verse 48. It says, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. You know, so there it go again. You know, you're not going to find no deceit or guile in Yahweh Shai. You know, so we are not to be found with no deceit or guile within us. You know, that's what makes us the remnant of the Most High. Why? Because we're being perfect, even as our Father in heaven is perfect. You know.
That's right, bro. Yeah, these scriptures connect, man.
Kind, bro. Kind.
I'm gonna get one in Psalms 32. This is in the book of Psalms 32. I'm gonna start at the top. It says, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord Yahweh imputeth not iniquity, in whose spirit there is no guile. See how this thing works, man? It's particular people whose transgression is going to be forgiven, man. What does that mean? There's going to be particular people whose transgression is not forgiven, man. You know, before this lesson, we was, just talking amongst brothers about forgiveness, man. Most High, you want to make it so the Most High is going to forgive you, man. You know, but it's all the Lord's will. You know what I'm saying? Particular people, they're going to have that cloak. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, be among those men, the house of David, that remnant, 144,000, whose spirit there is no God. You know? Yeah, I was a point on that.
Let me get this. This Romans chapter 11, verse 7. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained with this Romans chapter 11, verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. You know, so the election have obtained what they're seeking for. What is the election seeking for? Well, the election is seeking for the way of Yahweh Shemel Shai, basically, which, is the kingdom, because the kingdom is manifold, which the kingdom of heaven is within us with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which translates into the kingdom of heaven. I can tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, So we, Lord willing, we those men, well, we have an indication that we could possibly be of those men. Why? Because we have attained which Israel is seeking for, because Israel is seeking for true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but they don't have it. Why? Because everybody's not a part of that remainder. It was a certain sect of people who were slated to receive it, in a certain sect of people who were slated not to receive it. So Israel, which we read in Romans the 9th chapter, how all of Israel is not of Israel. Israel really just represents the remnant. So it said, what then? Israel now have obtained what they seeking for, but the election have obtained it. Why? Because the election represents Israel. I'm gonna read verse 8 as well. It says, according as it is written, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. Because they were set up like that. It says, and David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. And that's those who have not been excused, from their sin, like the brother read in Psalms 32. They've been imputed sin unto themselves. It says, let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back always. And that's what's happened. They bow down their back always. Why? Because they haven't been always set up to be those who the Heavenly Father has set to be placed apart.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more too. It's Romans. Also in Romans, this spirit. I went Romans 8. We went Romans 9, Romans 11. Now we're going to Romans 8. This Romans 8 verse 33. It says, who shall lay anything to the charge of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's elect? It is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua that justifies. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he justifies and condemns right here, man. Just like in Romans the 9th chapter, they tell you about that. Have not the potter power over the clay, or the same lump, to make one vessel to honor and another to dishonor, and that's what the Heavenly Father has done. He has set up those who was set to be sanctified by His truth and walk therein, and those who were not set to be sanctified by the truth and walk into the path of destruction.
That's right. This is the book of Psalms 58, verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right? So we already brought out Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. All right? The remnant is not going to be out here speaking lies, man. That's for the wicked. And that's, chiefly the Edomites. You know what I'm saying? But 2/3 of our people, man. Not all Israel's of Israel. 2/3 of our people are wicked, man. So they're estranged from the womb as well, man. Speaking lies, man. So that was really the point on that. You know what I'm saying? Because only particular men are gonna be out here, with no God, man. No God, no lies in their mouth, man. And that's if you could receive it.
This Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. It says, except the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashah, had left unto us a very small remnant, a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah, and that's what's literally going to happen to this place. This place is going to be as Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, it is Sodom and Gomorrah spiritually, Revelation the 11th chapter, but that's a scripture that's manifold as well, because like I tell you in Matthew 24 and 22, unless the days should be shortened, no flesh should be saved. So unless Yahweh Shemashah was to shorten the days for the elect's sake, for His remnant, no flesh should be saved. Why? Because everybody be under Sodom and Gomorrah. It's just like I don't know if you've seen, brother, but the guy, the damn buffoon, Lil Yachty, he was dressed up like Oprah in one of his rap videos. Got on makeup and a wig. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like it's like everybody almost a sodomite now. You know.
Yeah, it's a challenge they got going on. I know you seen that. I guess couples they swapping, like it's like a video and then they just swap and they just like swap like outfits or something. It's like,
oh no, I ain't even see that.
It's like, yeah, J-Lo and what's his name, Aaron, or what's his name, Alex?
Oh, Alex Rodriguez.
Whoever she's with, yeah, they did like a little video and they swapped. It's sick, man. I'll be right back.
Con, bro, con. I'm gonna read this 10. This yeah, I'm gonna read 9 one more time too. This Isaiah 1 and 9 says, "Except the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashah, had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah." So, unless Yahweh Shemashah had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. You know, pretty much. That's manifold, you know, because you'll be completely engulfed in perverseness. Our whole nation will be completely engulfed in perverseness. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 10, it says, "Hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our power, Yahweh, ye people of Gomorrah." You know, and yeah, that's the key. You know, giving ear to the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shemashah, man. You know, or you're gonna end up receiving the same judgment that Sodom and Gomorrah received. You know, it says, you know, it says that pretty much they received the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah was fire and brimstone ultimately. You know, and that's what's gonna come to this place. You know,
I don't think that's the sun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was just very small remnant that was saved out of Sodom.
That's the point I wanted to hit too. That's the spirit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't know what they understand. This is spiritual Sodom, man, in Egypt. You know?
I got another one. Unless you got something.
I have Daniel 12. You can bring what you got though.
Okay, this Sirach chapter 33. I'm gonna start at 7. This Sirach chapter 33 verse 7. It says, "Why doth one day excel another? And so like it when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun." It says, "By the knowledge of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them have he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, have divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them have he blessed and exalted. Some of them have he blessed and exalted in Remnant. And some of that's what we put to the side. And some of them he have he sanctified and set near himself." Like, you know, like you got a big cake or something, a big lemon cake with some icing on top, and it's hitting, and everybody get a slice of it, but you take you a little piece. You know what I'm saying? A little big chunk, and you put that in the refrigerator in the back. So, you know what I'm saying? With everything, when the cake gone, you got that little piece waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? That's that remnant that he's kept for himself. It says, "But some of them have he cursed and brought low, and turned out of their places, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as like of him best." You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Yahweh Shemashah, he's the potter out here, man. You know, and he ultimately created spirits that he wanted to create to fulfill his will on the right hand side, the left hand side, you know, the good side, the evil side. You know, it says, verse 14, "Good is set against evil." So Yahweh Shemashah, if he created a remnant, he had to create a multitude. You know, if he created a remnant, he had to create a multitude. If he created someone that was evil, he had to create somebody that's good. You know, every work is it's an adversary for every work. Well, Satan means adversary.
Yep.
You know, it says verse 14, "Good is set against evil, and life against death, and life against death." You know, it says, so is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. And so Yahweh Shemashah set up godly men, and he set up sinners. You know, if you're going to set up godly men, he had to set up sinners. That's why I say, Amos 9:10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. They're not a part of their remnant. You know, that's that multitude that's going to perish. The multitude perish that was born in vain.
Hey, Shalom. Yahweh Shemashah Barakatah.
Shalom, Yahweh Shemashah Barakatah. It says, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two and one against another. You see? So that's just how it is. You know, Yahweh Shemashah, he set up a remainder and he set up a majority. You know.
Right. Like I was just thinking, brothers, watch basketball or whatever. But you got you know what I'm saying? You got the rosters and you got different teams or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got different stars and all-stars scattered throughout the whole league. You know what I'm saying? But when you gather them together, you got, you know what I'm saying? The team, you know what I'm saying? The elect is like the dream team. You know what I'm saying? You put the elite. You know what I'm saying? You put the all-stars together, man. Ain't nobody stopping them, man. You know what I'm saying? The elite, man. But right now, the elite is scattered, you know? The real elite, not these, you know what I'm saying? These banker families, they're not the elite. But the real elite, man, Lord willing, we one of those men.
All right, brother.
This is in Daniel 12. I was going to get 1 through 3, but let me just jump to 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. All right, it says the wise shall understand, man. All right, the same men, all right, who said many shall be purified and made white. You know, the same remnant, all right, that's perfect up, like Job. You know what I'm saying? Particular people. All right, Lord willing. Hey, man. I mean, they're still here. They're here today, man. But I'm going to just read 1 through 3. In Daniel 1, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Talking about that remnant. It says, verse 2, it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. You know, the dust meaning confusion. They shall awake. It says, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. It says, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. And that's that new song that, that brothers is singing right now. You know what I'm saying? That's going to turn, all right, many to righteousness, man. You know? And those are the people that's going to get delivered out of here, that remnant. You know?
They said they shall shine as stars forever and ever, you know? And you know, Israel is likened unto stars, you know?
Yep.
You had something else up?
No, you got it.
This Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 21, just to back up what the brother said about the elite being scattered all amongst the league, pretty much. This Ezekiel 37 and 21, it says, and I say unto them, thus said the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land, and I will make them one nation in the land upon one team, that all-star team, you know. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. You know, that's like Steve Kerr. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. You know, so yeah, that's that all-star team joining together, the elite come together. It's just like when Kevin Durant joined Golden State. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said Steve Kerr.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know, that's like bringing it all together. You know?
And he coached the Olympic team, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, for real? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the spirit.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, these precepts are linked, man. You know? This is in Deuteronomy 30. I'm going to start at the top. It says, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, It says, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations. All the nations, it says, whither the Lord Yahweh, thy power, have driven thee. That's cold. This is heavy, man. This is basically, we see what's happening, man. Once you have the understanding, we could use the breadcrumbs to see, like, all right, our people were scattered amongst all these heathens, man, amongst all these nations. Verse 2, it says, and shalt return into the Lord Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice. We already brought out in what's that? Psalms you brought out?
Ezekiel.
That the Most High don't do iniquity, or he don't speak iniquity.
Zephaniah 3 and 5.
That's Zephaniah 3 and 5?
Yeah, they were the same shit.
Same chapter, you see? Zephaniah 3. It talks about how the remnant are not going to be speaking iniquity, all right? And that's based off of the Lord. It says, it shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul. All right, we know this. That's not everybody, man. They ain't talking about the whole nation of Israel. The scriptures talk about it. I seen them, my people. They are stiff necked. You know what I'm saying? So not all Israel is going to be doing this, man. But the remnant that's going to be doing this, verse 3 says, then the Lord Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord Yahweh thy power have scattered thee. Just give verse 4, it says, if any of thine be driven out into the outermost parts of heaven, from hence will the Lord Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from hence will he fetch thee. You know? So that's just something like, hey man, gather the elect, man, you know? I was thinking of Matthew 24, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately the elect is going to be gathered, man. Particular men that don't have any gall in their mouth, man, you know? And that's through the Spirit, you know? King David, yep. 10 mercies of David. I was going to get that in Ezekiel 31. But, yeah, man. You got something, bro?
Yeah, let me just get this. Jeremiah chapter 46 in verse 28, it says, 28. It says, fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, said the Lord Yahweh Shemel I am with thee, for I will make a full nation. So like a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee, but I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in measure, yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished. And then going to that second Ezra, the 9th chapter, what we brought out, when it says, with great labor I have made thee perfect, you know. So Yahweh Shemel he had purposes, like pretty much that's the purging process. You know, he wanted to, like, he put, like I was talking, made a semblance example to that cake. He put it on chill, you know what I'm saying? Made sure it was perfectly cool and chill. So by the time he came back and digged into it, had that perfect bite to it, you know?
Yep.
You got something else up?
No, you got it.
Let me get this and let me go here real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 10 verse 20. This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Shemel the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power of Yahweh. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness, man. You know, so basically only a remnant is going to return, man. You know, because why? Because that's how Yahweh Shemel set it up, man. You know, he's going to gather the remnant from where he has driven them. You know, that's what it's all about. It's about their remnant, man. The remnant, they going to rule under Yahweh Shai in the kingdom of heaven, you know. To prove that, you got something, brother?
Yeah, have me think of a couple.
I just want to get this real quick. This is Revelation chapter 2 in verse 25. It's Revelation chapter 2 verse 25. But that which they have already hold fast till I come, is Yahweh speaking, And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. That's that remnant, man. Because everybody not going to overcome. We just read that. You know, only a remnant shall return. You know, it says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. You know, and that's the spirit. You know, because Yahweh Shemel Shah is, you know, the potter. You know, and he's gonna, as he has the ability to break his clay into shivers, you know, or his vessels into shivers, you know, which he's gonna do to the multitude. He's gonna give us that same power through our Lord Yahweh Shai. You know, it says, I'm gonna read verse 27 again. It says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star, which the morning star is Yahweh. And he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. And that's the Spirit, because what you brought out in Daniel the 12th chapter about the stars shining forever. You know what Daniel the 2nd chapter speak about. You know, that mountain that's not gonna not gonna be moved. That kingdom that's gonna be established forever, pretty much. You know, and that mountain represents Yahweh Shai, you know, and his kingdom. And ultimately, another name for Yahweh Shai is the morning star, which the morning star is that's the star that's going to shine forever, you know. But yeah, that was the point on that, you know. The remnant, they're going to get, you know, dominion under Yahweh Shai to pretty much to rule with him, you know. Guess I'm this up.
Yeah. Let me get this one in 1 Peter 3. I'm gonna start at 15. I'm just start 15. It says, but sanctify the Lord power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear. It says, having good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Hamashiach. You know, obviously that's those that mouth that has guile in it, man. You know, verse 17 it says, for it is better if the will of the Most High be so that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. All right, that's talking to the elect. It says, for Hamashiach hath also once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to the Most High. It says, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. It says, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. You know, that new song. It says, verse 20, it says, which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of the Most High waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein a few, says that is 8 souls were saved by water. You know, that was really the point I wanted to make, because it talks about 8 souls, man. You know, we already brought out the times of Noah, you know, the times of Sodom. You know, this is, hey man, it's only a few that's really going to receive this word and hearken into it, man. You know, ultimately believe that he is, and he's rewarded them that diligently seek him. You know, that in his spirit is found no guile, man. You know, and ultimately going to get delivered out of here. But I only have probably one more that was ready yet.
Yeah, I got one more too.
Ben, what I got, or
Yeah, burn what you got.
just a quick one. Yeah, let me just get this one. This is in St. Matthew 20 and 16. It says, so the last shall be first, and the first last. It says, for many be called, but few chosen. You know, that word chosen, that's the same word as elect. You know, you go into that word, eklectos, you know, that means chosen. So it's a few that's going to be elected out of here, man. Be delivered out of here. Be chosen to be delivered. You know, that's if you could receive it. That was it.
Done, bro. Done. This Romans chapter 8, verse 15, it says, "For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear." Why? Because we're prisoners of a Mashiach, like Apostle Paul said, but we haven't become prisoners again to fear. We actually become prisoners that we may be free. Like I said, St. John 3:3, I believe, to know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Another one of the Christians' favorites right there.
Yeah.
It says, "For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father." Yeah, the spirit of adoption, man. What's that? Being severed from among the rest of from the rest of the multitude, pretty much, man. Which matter of fact, could we get that word adoption?
What you want to do it or?
Yeah, kind. See if we get there.
Con.
See what we get for that.
This is Romans 8.
Con. Yeah, that was Romans 8:15.
Romans 8:15. You wanted that word adoption. Adoption is a Strong's G5206. It says adoption. It says adoption as sons. That relationship which the Most High was pleased to establish between Himself and the Israelites in preference to all other nations.
The remainder, because it's what 17 other nations outside of Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So basically, the Heavenly Father, he had plenty of nations that he could have chosen, set His love upon.
I gotta get that. You probably know where I'm going. You know where I'm going.
I was just thinking of it.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, you might as well bring that up.
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 7. I was gonna give verse 7, but I guess.
I was gonna say read down a little bit. Start at 6 and read down a little bit.
This is Deuteronomy 7:6. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. The Lord Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself."
Unto Himself. What holy mean? Holy means separate.
Mm-hmm.
The remainder, something that's left.
Yep. Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's their remainder. That's their excess. That's what's left.
Verse 7. It says, "The Lord Yahweh did not set His love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people."
Fewest of all people. The remnant, man. They're very small remnant.
Mm-hmm. Let me read down more.
Yeah, that's pretty much the point. Yeah, jumping back to Romans chapter 8 and verse 15. Verse 16. I'm gonna just jump down one more verse. Verse 16. "The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shem Shai." Why? Because we're what's left. What it speak about in one of your favorite chapters. What's that? Isaiah 59th chapter, or when they speak about
make yourself a prey and all that.
Yeah, kind of. He did departed from wickedness, making himself a prey, and pretty much Yahweh Shai seen it, and He was displeased because there was no judgment.
Right.
And so it's only a few who are who are prey, pretty much, who are not imparted in wickedness, pretty much, who have not given themselves over fully to wickedness, So that's in that spirit that's within us, to depart from wickedness. Lord willing, with those men, that's bearing witness to ourselves that we are the children of the Most High. That we could possibly be of that part that He set apart. That remnant that He set apart.
And just you're okay. Just to land back, it says we are the children. If you go into the Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, that word is bond, which means son. So it's supposed to be we are the sons of the Most High. Just to get that out there.
Kind, brother, kind. Yep.
Because the elect are men.
Kind, brother, kind. Yeah, the tabernacle of the Most High dwelleth with men. Because I don't know if you've seen that one female in Philly who be teaching on the streets.
I think I might have seen a clip. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, as well. Verse 17, it says, "And if children, then heirs, what's an heir? Someone who's set to receive an inheritance. You know, set to receive an inheritance. That's the remnant. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's set apart. Like everybody not gonna get an inheritance. You know what I'm saying?
You have to get one now.
That what that's just you said you gotta get one now.
Because you had just you actually brought it out earlier. What scripture you brought out in Revelation?
14.
It talks about the rod.
Oh, Revelation 2.
Revelation 2 kind of. But nah, it wasn't that one. But like Slocky. Let's just get it real quick. Yeah,
Psalms 2.
This is Psalms 2. This is Psalms 30, chapter 2, and let me just get to the point. Verse 8. It says, "Ask of me, and I shall give the heathen for thine inheritance." Inheritance, man, to be an heir, right? It means to inherit.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It says, "In the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession." It says, "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel." You know, just like we put out in Revelation 2, man. You know, the heirs, all right. Hey, is it Jeremiah talks about thou art a battle axe?
Jeremiah 51.
I was breaking pieces the nations. Dude, that's Israel, man.
Yep.
Ultimately, that's the elect.
Yep.
You know, starting with Yahushua.
Yep. That's right. Yep. It's back in Romans chapter 8, verse 17, it said, and if children, then heirs of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and joint heirs with the Mashiach, which what the brother just brought out in Psalms the 2nd chapter. You know, he's been set to receive inheritance of the uttermost parts of the earth, man. You know, it says in the heathen, you know, which everybody can't possess each other, you know.
Yeah, hey, how that work?
It's wild, you know. It says, and if children, then heirs and heirs of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and joint heirs with the Mashiach Yahushua, and so be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. Yeah, because it's only a few who are suffering right now, and within the spirit. Just put it like that, you know, for righteousness' sake. Like it tell you in what 1 Corinthians the 11th chapter, when we are judged we are chastened of the Most High, that we are not condemned with the world. You know, it says, and so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. You know, only the remnant is getting chastened by the Most High. You know why? Because if you're not getting chastened by the Most High, you're a bastard. You know, like Hebrews the 12th chapter say. You know, it says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of the present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." And what's that? That we was that, Lord willing, we those men, we was that excess. What was left, we made it through the storm. The last ones left. Tupac got a song called, I don't know if you ever heard it, "We the last ones left."
I don't think so.
Yeah, he nigga got some in damn song. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like we the last ones left. Oh yeah, like how many niggas fell victim to the streets? Rest in peace, John. Nigga is in heaven for a G.
Okay,
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, we the last ones left. You know, that's the remnant. It say, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, it says, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yahweh. You know, so that's what it's all about, man. You know, being receiving that glorious liberty of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you know, which the remnant will receive, like you read in Psalms the 2nd chapter, Revelation the 2nd chapter. You know,
it's heavy, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know that one else unless you got anything.
Let me get one more. I think it was let me see. I think it's in Matthew 24, but let me just actually I think it's Matthew 24. Just to end off there. elect's sake.
Oh, First Peter, the second chapter, or First Timothy, the second chapter. It's one of those. That'd be First Timothy.
I think it's First Peter.
The First Peter, okay.
Let's see. So I just want to get that one just to end it off with.
First Peter, I think that's First Peter 22.
It might be an apocrypha. You know what I'm talking about?
Do we endure all things for the elect's sake?
That's,
Is that what you doing?
yeah.
Yeah, or is it six?
You're right. Second Peter.
Oh,
Say
Second
Second Timothy. Come.
Okay, come on.
Salakia. This is in the 2 Timothy 2 and verse 10. It says, "Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushai with eternal glory." You know? So, hey, that's all, man. Lord willing, we those men, you know? But, you know what I'm saying? Even, hey, man, we endure for the elect, man, you know? Whoever they may be, you know? And it says, why? That they may obtain the salvation that is in Hamashiach, man. All right? So one way or another, the elect is going to get delivered out of here, and Israel is going to be good, you know? That small remnant, through that small remnant, you know, I like bringing out John 3:16, you know what I'm saying? That whosoever who believeth in them, that's how the world is going to be saved, man. You know what I'm saying? 2/3 of our people, they're going to get that pain by death, but ultimately, you know what I'm saying? They're going to have that everlasting shame in the kingdom, but they'll be all right. You know?
That's a great point. Either way you put it, it's still about the remnant. You know what I'm saying? Even the remnant of them who don't make it, who was trying to be a remnant, still did it for the remnant.
Yep.
It's wild.
It all falls down, yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, I ain't got nothing else.
Kind of.
So yeah, with that, you know, we pray that all you sincere listeners who may tune into this edify.
Hear the scripture too, Mark 13 and 20. Kind of.
You want to grab it?
Can I get it? Yeah. This is in St. Mark 13, verse 20. It says, "And except that the Lord hath shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom hath he chosen, he hath shortened the days." God. Yep. Powerful. So it's all about the elect, man.
God, bro. God. Yep. So that's it. You know, we pray through the Spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Shad is edifying. We want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone, rule well, and peace and salutations to the house of David, the elect man pushing his truth and faith and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth so we can get the hell up out of here. You know, the coronavirus is here. You know, Lord willing, they quarantine our state, and, you know, martial law pop off and we get the hell up out of here sooner than later. All right. Yahweh Shemashah Barakathon, to all you sincere listeners who tune into this. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. You know, shalom on to the elect.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.